we're there.
Okay, let me see if it's, I'll give you the thumbs up if it's on the Facebook page. Oh,
Yay, we're good. We're good. Okay, a couple false starts, but we're back. I'm just recap. I'm Nancy Campbell Allen, and I am the person who wrote Kiss of the Spindle. This is our official launch party for it, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself, and we'll talk about the books, and I will be answering some questions that a lot of you have submitted throughout the week, and then also throughout this this video. If you want to put any questions in the comments, we'll get to those as well. And every now and then, we'll just stop and do some drawings for some other books in the Proper Romance line, which are all really good. And then our grand prize, which will be also really good. So just a little bit about me. I've been published since 1999. I have written, so there's a total of, I want to say 14 books published, and across all genres. And I read widely, and so I've kind of written widely. And the tie in all of my books tends to be like a romantic theme with a mystery element as well. That's what I enjoyed reading when I was growing up, and that's what I really like to read still, and that's what I like to write. The one deviation from that has probably been my Civil War series, which was almost 18 years ago now, I guess, that first came out. And that was more traditional historical fiction. Everything else I've done has been kind of more fantastical in nature, and nobody that I know would ever have any of these things happen to them ever in my books. I enjoy reading for escape usually. I also enjoy nonfiction, but I like to read for escape, and that tends to be what I write as well. So that's a little bit about me. I am married. I have been married for 29 years. I have a 25-year-old daughter, a 23-year-old daughter, and a 13-year-old son. And he was planned, which is usually we get that's the question. Oh, you got a little surprise caboose. No, we know what we were doing. So I live in Ogden. I have a great family. I feel really lucky to have landed where I did, and I'm the oldest of 5 kids. My favorite things are to just be together with family and laugh. And not a lot of people know I have a real affinity for stationery. I like paper and pens and stickers. So yeah, that's me in just a little nutshell. So let's do our first giveaway. 2 winners are going to win a copy of my book, Kiss of the Spindle, and I'll explain a little bit about how that came to be. But let's do that drawing. And these names came from, one per drawing, one per person. And these names came from, I want to say in the last week. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Pre-asked questions. Okay, and the first one goes to Heather Jemmett, Jemmett, and I hope I don't slaughter your names. So there is Kiss of the Spindle. And then also, you need to make sure that you direct message the Proper Romance on the Facebook page. The Proper Romance Facebook page, direct message, and just shoot a message there and tell us what you won. Second one for Kiss of the Spindle is Jennifer Wright Hannah. And I don't know, are you guys keeping track of these? Okay, I'll just not worry about that then. So congratulations, and I hope you like it. It is the second of my 2 steampunk books. This is the first one, Clockwork Beast, Beauty and the Clockwork Beast. But they are, even though they're part of a series, they can be read individually. You don't have to read one to understand the other, and so that's kind of a nice perk. Let's see. Let's do some questions from earlier this week. One of the questions was, what drew me to steampunk fairytale retellings? And it's the oddest mashup. Most people are like, I have no clue what this even is. And so I have to tell them, just give it a minute and try to get into it. And especially with this first book, the response that I usually got was like, well, once you get to page 90, then it makes, and I'm thinking, oh, it took that long to get into it. But thankfully people are willing to stick with it. It really doesn't take that long, I don't think, for it to start to make sense, hopefully. But I love fairy tales. I love the whole princess thing. I am kind of ashamed to admit it, but not really. And I have my favorite story, my favorite fairy tale is Beauty and the Beast, and my favorite book of all time is Jane Eyre. And so I wanted to find a way to kind of combine those two. And an editor that I had several years ago when I had finished one of my series, my Isabel Webb series, and I was chatting with my editor, his name was Kirk Shaw, and he said, "Do you like steampunk?" And I said, "I love steampunk." And he said, "You should consider that." And it hadn't even crossed my mind. It wasn't even on my radar. So that was one book that I didn't have an audience in mind for that. I didn't know who was going to end up reading it. And I think to date, that's probably been my most fun book, just because it's a mashup of everything that I love, and it's just bizarre and so much fun. And so because Beauty and the Beast was my favorite, that kind of made sense that was the one I started with. And the premise is there's 4 books in the series, and they're about 4 friends, men who met each other during wartime. And so they spent some time together and became friends, and now this is their story, and they keep in touch afterward. So that's the tie. And so then after I had done Beauty and the Beast, I was thinking, well, I'm going to need some more fairy tales. Which other ones do I love? And I really liked Sleeping Beauty. And one of the fun things that I have memories from when I was a kid was watching the Disney cartoon. And so this book was a lot of fun for me because I put in a lot of the elements from the cartoons. And I'm hoping there's like little Easter eggs sprinkled all through this book. And so I'm hoping that people will see it and recognize it for what it is. My youngest sister knew right off what I was doing with all of it, but then she also watched the movie with me all the time, so she would know. But so that's where that came from. And I'm hoping that as you read it, you will be able to see, if you also are a fan of the cartoon, that you'll recognize a lot of little nods to things in the cartoon. So there's Beauty and the Beast, Sleeping Beauty. The one that I'm finishing up right now is it's kind of a strange mashup of Rapunzel in Transylvania. So it's another one that's kind of bizarre and that doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it, but it all ties together very well, I promise. And then the last one will be Cinderella, because that's my classic favorite. I love that story, and Cinderella. The Cinderella story is a classic across so many different genres and throughout history, and there's so many different ways to tell it, and so I'm really looking forward to that one. Let's see. I think a couple more questions. Should we do another giveaway? We're out of time. What do you think? Asking my producers behind the camera.
You can do another round of these.
Okay. Let's do. So this now will be. Okay. These are books also in the proper romance line. And the nice thing about the proper romance line, I think, is that there's something for everyone. If steampunk is not your favorite thing and you prefer more like realistic fiction or something closer to women's fiction, then, there's something for everyone, and you will find it. This one is by my dear friend, Josie Kilpack, and it's the advanced reader's copy of Promises and Primroses, right? Primroses. And our winner for that one is Morgan Nebaker. So congratulations, Morgan. Remember to direct message the Proper Romance Facebook page. This also, a dear friend, is Sarah Eden. This is one of her newest Victorian set historical romances. And it's called Healing Hearts. And it is going to go to Sally Britton Traynor. Traynor? Treanor. I hope I don't mess up you guys' names. Okay. And then the last one is also an advanced reader's copy, also by a dear friend, Julie Wright. It's Lies, Love, and Breakfast at Tiffany's. And it comes after her book, Lies Jane Austen Told Me, which is also fantastic. So funny and quirky, and her sense of humor, I think, is my favorite thing about her writing. And it goes to Sherry Gravette. 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 Sherry. Either way, it's a very pretty name. I'm wondering how we say it. Okay. Congratulations. And make sure you direct message the Proper Romance page. How about, are there any questions that are coming in right now? If not, I'll just take some more that have already been asked.
One of the questions from Rachel,
Okay.
she asked, do you ever base your characters off of people you know?
I try not to base my characters off of people I know, but it happens anyway. I don't think there's ever been a time when I've really set out to totally copy someone, but I remember years ago in my Civil War series, my mom had read one of the volumes and she said, man, I see a lot of us in here. And so I think it just kind of happens anyway. But I definitely do kind of take, traits and bits and pieces of people that I either know or have seen on TV or in a story or something like that, and then just kind of mash it all together. So far, I've never based any of my characters on a real person, except I take that back. Isabel Webb was my girl spy in the Civil War series, and then I did a series of 3 books after that. And so she kind of is like an Indiana Jones girl character. And she was actually based on Kate Warren, who was one of the Pinkerton spies. She was one of the first, I think she was the first female spy that Pinkerton hired because he realized that, wow, women can get into places that men can't, and they can do the spying. So she was one that I based kind of on a real character, but that's about it. So
let's do one more from the current comments.
Okay.
Nicole said that she loved Beauty and the Clockwork Beast, and if you were able to make it into a movie, which actors would you cast?
Oh gosh. That's a great question. Actually, Gerard Butler was kind of my inspiration for him. And then there's a picture of this girl in like a steampunk outfit, and she isn't an actress. And my friend actually saw it, and she said, "Why, hello, Lucy Pickett." She sent me a copy of the picture, and it's totally Lucy. Who would I pick for her? Maybe, someone small, little-ish. Maybe someone kind of that had the look of Padme. What's her name?
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman, yeah. I think she would be kind of a good fit for that, her stature and the way she looks, and yeah. So, yeah, that's a good question. Really good question. Should we take another one from... How are we doing on time? I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Let's see. There's a lot of good questions here. Here's a quick one. What is your favorite place to write? By Cassidy and Laura sent in that question. My favorite place to write is anywhere that I have not been for the last hour, because I have a laptop and I like to move around a lot. I have an office in my house, which is great, but I find that if I sit for too long, I get kind of antsy, and so sometimes I like taking my laptop in the car and going to sit by the river in my hometown. A lot of times will go to the library just to kind of get a change of pace, and sometimes writer friends and I will go to this little kind of a tea place called Cuppa in my town, and they have Wi-Fi and yummy drinks and snacks, and it's just this great place. And one time they had this grand piano, and one time this guy came and played the piano, and it was really great. So we had accompaniment to our writing, and it was fun. So I like to mix it up a lot. And let's see, how about how do you envision the story? Do you sketch the characters out on paper or just write from what you see? And that's from B. Followill. I usually start with an idea, sometimes a setting, and then I do a whole lot of brainstorming. My procedure is I do a lot of work beforehand, before I start actually drafting. And I usually do it like with a pen and paper, and I outline everything. I brainstorm like crazy forever, and then I do character sketches to kind of give me an idea of what these people are like, because if I know them well enough, and if I find out more and more things about them as I kind of brainstorm these character sketches, then that will determine how the plot kind of twists and unfolds and all that. So I like to know them as well as I can before I start writing. A lot of people are discovery writers. I think most people are kind of discovery writers in my circles anyway, meaning that they just start writing and then things kind of evolve as they go. And excuse me, I found that I am really unsettled if I don't know where I'm going. And so which is kind of not really like how I am. I'm disorganized and kind of dingy and cluttered, but with my writing, I like to know, where I'm going, so that by the time I start to sit down and draft, it goes pretty quickly. And let's do one more. What is your favorite character you've written and why? My favorite character. I loved Lucy. She was a lot of fun, and I think one of the reasons that I like her is because it was something fresh and brand new and something I had never tried before. But I think overall, probably my favorite character in all of the time that I've been writing is probably Isabel Webb, because she was with me the longest. And I don't really usually get emotional when I write, but when I wrote she was in the 4 Civil War books, and then she had her own series, so there were 3 of those. And I think it was over the span of like 12 years. And so by the time I was done with her last book, I was really ready to be done. But it was kind of emotional for me, and I wrote out her last scene and felt myself, my eyes are burning a little bit, and I thought, this is ridiculous, because I don't usually get so involved. Like I said, my stuff is more kind of fantasy-like, and so I think if I were writing women's fiction, it might be a little bit different. I might feel more, I don't know, just teary and weepy and that sort of thing, but I don't usually have that problem. But with Isabel, that was a little bit harder because she'd become kind of a friend. Okay. Should we do a drawing or should we wait?
You can do the final drawing.
Should we do the final drawing?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. And this goes to, the grand prize is a copy of all of the books that we have given away so far today. Right? And a $25 Visa gift card, which is very cool. And let's see. Wiggle around in there. The grand prize goes to Amy Crockett Lowe. So congratulations to Amy. And make sure you message the Proper Romance Facebook page for your prize. And yeah, that's cool. And I hope, like I said before, it's fun to win things. I love winning things. It doesn't happen very often. But especially winning books is a treat. So I hope that you enjoy, those of you that won today, I hope that you enjoy the treat. And you usually, if you're watching this or you watch it later or you're a fan of the Proper Romance line, you really do love to read. And that's one thing I've noticed about romance readers in particular, mystery readers, usually genre readers tend to be very voracious, and we can't write fast enough to satisfy people. And so that's probably why it's a good thing that there's so many books to choose from. Should we just... Okay. Let me just take one look at, see if there's anything else that I kind of want to... Oh, my favorite part to write in Kiss of the Spindle, without giving away any spoilers. So since this is the prize of the day, the lady of the hour, probably my favorite part was what happened when, and like I said, things don't usually surprise me. I like to command the ship. I like to be in charge of where the characters are going, and I don't usually get too surprised by plot twists. But the character that surprised me in this one is one that kind of is a little bit of he's hard at first to like, and he's the bad guy. And there were things that as I was writing his character and kind of the interactions with Isla, our Sleeping Beauty, he changed, and it really became an interesting relationship from that point. And so that's probably one of the favorite things I think about this book was just seeing how the interplay with the characters. I even have my own version of the 3 fairies, which are pretty easily recognizable, I think, once you get into the story. But that's probably my favorite. That was my favorite thing of all in writing this book, was just how much fun I had with the people in it, and the nod to the Disney movie and everything. So thank you so much for sending in questions over the past week and for being here. And if you end up watching this video later and not live, hopefully seeing these books will give you some ideas of maybe some things to try. And I appreciate so much the readership and the letters and the kind emails that I receive. It's been really great being able to share this with you, and knowing that you're enjoying it just makes it that much sweeter. So thank you, and everybody have a good day and read lots.